Jacksonville. Rivers threw 2 picks in the loss, including one late in the fourth quarter. The Vikings lost at home to the Packers. Minnesota was 5th in the NFL in scoring defense last year, but allowed 43 points in this one, most Green Bay has ever scored in a season opener. And then the defending NFC champs lost at home. The 49ers losing to Arizona, and with several key targets injured, Jimmy Garoppolo completed just 58% of his passes. So I have a poll question up this morning on my Twitter page at ESPN Greeny. Which performance from a presumed contender was the most concerning to you? Colts, Vikings, Eagles, 49ers, none of them seem like bad answers. But Dominique and D. Wood, I can tell you that the overwhelming majority of those voting on my poll are saying Philadelphia. Damien, Woody, what concerned you the most in what you saw from Wentz and the Eagles against Washington?
Well, Greeny, we went into the season and they already had 2 major injuries on the offensive line. So as much as we talked about the weapons and all the shiny toys that they have on offense and the players that they brought in on defense, if you can't block anyone, none of it matters. It's really simple. It's fundamental. And what we saw from the Washington Redskins, they have a boatload of talent in their defensive line. I don't know what the rest of the team is going to look like, but one thing I can guarantee, they will be able to get after the quarterback, and that's exactly what they did against Carson Wentz.
No question. And, Neek, you know from all the times we've been together on this show how much Dan Orlovsky loves Carson Wentz. And I don't even mean to turn this into the joking around piece now. Dan came here Monday morning and said Carson Wentz was the reason his team lost that football game on Sunday. What did you see?
Yeah, I know Dan is watching because he's always watching. And I was shocked to hear him tweet that out and then hear him say it. But I think he's right. I think Carson Wentz made quite a few mistakes. And if you have problems protecting a quarterback and you have a quarterback who has a history of injury, you know who you don't want to see? Aaron Donald. And that's who they're playing next. Aaron Donald, the man who was throwing around 300-pound men like they were children on that primetime game against Dallas last week. That man is coming to town. So Carson Wentz better not hold on to the ball on those screen passes, throw it in the ground. He better get rid of it on time, and they better find a way to max protect, to protect this man, because their franchise, or their season at least, is hanging in the balance if they lose him. And I do think that there is questions in that organization about Carson Wentz, whether it's about his health or about his on-field execution. You don't draft a quarterback in the second round because you have a ton of faith in the guy that you have under center.
Isn't that interesting? You actually, Damien Woody, when you were making predictions before the season began, one of them was that we would see more of the backups in Philadelphia than we expected. What do you see happening there?
Well, listen, yeah, that was my bold prediction. I believe it was last week that at some point we're going to see Jalen Hurts starting a couple games, because listen, we all know Carson Wentz has a propensity to be injured. He's not the most durable of guys, and again, the offensive line is injured, and they were under siege against the Washington Redskins. So if Carson Wentz takes that type of beating during the season, he's not going to hold up.
All right, we'll keep an eye on that. Much more from the NFL to go as we continue here, but we are waiting any minute now for word that could change the entire football fall as we know it. How and when will the Big Ten Conference return to action? Did you hear Nebraska President Ted Carter yesterday inadvertently talking on a hot mic? This is what he said.
Look, we're getting ready to announce a Husker Big Ten football tonight.
Oh, really? I heard that was happening. I didn't. I think there's a lot of anticipation about that. Good for you. Maybe that'll get off your plate.
Well, it never will, but it's a good move in the right direction.
Right.
My favorite part of that story, as we bring in Heather and Paul here, was when he later said that his comments were taken out of context. I'm not exactly sure what other context that could be taken in. But Heather, let's just get right to the bottom of it. I know you're talking to everyone constantly. What is the very latest that you are hearing from the Big Ten in this enormous decision?
Well, Greeny, we are expecting a decision today at some point. The Big Ten has not confirmed anything, to be clear, but sources have said that the most likely outcome is probably an October 17th start date, an 8 or 9 game schedule with a conference championship game on December 19th. And if that is the case, that would allow the Big Ten to sneak back into the college football playoff conversation, because this year Selection Day is on December 20th. But I will remind everyone that when the presidents get together, they do things on their own time, their own fashion. So To be determined what time exactly this happens.
Okay, there's so many questions here. Let me ask just a few of them. If they want to start October 17th, let's back time that. I mean, you say they can do this on their own time. By what point reasonably would they have to make this decision in order to have a chance to start that soon?
Oh, at the end of this week, I would imagine at the latest, because if you're looking at a calendar in front of you right now, that pretty much gives 4 weeks to get these players in shape. And when you're talking about contending for a national title, you got to practice, right? I mean, look, before this all started, coaches were saying, oh, we need 4 to 6 weeks to get our players properly in physical condition to play a game. And you saw what Navy looked like against BYU when they hadn't been tackling. So they need to make a decision sooner than later in order to get the players prepared for an October 17th start date.
And the other, I'm sure people are wondering, Heather, is on August 11th, which isn't that long ago, the Big Ten decided we cannot do this. What changed between then and now that makes them consider it?
The medical information has changed. Sources said that on Saturday, this past weekend, the bulk of the meeting, all of it, was focused on at least 4 new rapid tests, antigen tests, that would significantly help the league decrease the time it takes to contact trace. It would allow for daily testing, a similar pattern plan to what the Pac-12 is very excited about using and having on each of their campuses by the end of this month. But also myocarditis, right? What changed with that? That's a question that has to be asked. And when you think about it, the bulk of the information that has to change when they announce this is the medical aspect of it, because that is the reason that they postponed to begin with.
All right, again, we are expecting possibly word on this almost any moment.